All right, we're going to dive into an idea today that might just flip everything you thought you knew on its head. What if the real key to how you look, how you feel, your energy, what if it isn't locked away in your DNA? What if it's something you actually have control over, right now?
You know the line, right? We've all said it. Oh, it's just my genetics. It's the go-to excuse for why we can't lose that stubborn fat or why we're always tired. But what if that's not the full picture? What if there's something else, something way more powerful, really pulling the strings?
And this is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about your metabolism. The idea here is that your metabolic health is, quite possibly, the single most important factor for, well, just about everything.
Just think about it for a second. That system inside you that's constantly turning food into fuel for your cells. That's what's really in the driver's seat every single day. And here's the amazing part. Unlike your genes, which are pretty much set in stone, your metabolism is always changing. And that is so empowering because it means you can actually do something about it.
So if your metabolism is the entire system, what's running the show? Who's at the control panel? Well, it turns out there's this one tiny little gland that's basically the master switch for the whole operation. Let me introduce you to your thyroid. It's this small, kind of butterfly-shaped gland right at the base of your neck. And its job? It's absolutely monumental. It makes the hormones that tell your body how fast to run, how much energy to use. Basically, it sets the pace for your entire life.
Probably the best way to picture it is like the thermostat for your body. If that thermostat is set just right, everything runs like a dream. But if it's off, even just a tiny bit, you're going to feel the ripple effects through your entire system.
And this is where it gets a little wild. Get this. A staggering 70% of people are walking around with a thyroid that isn't working at full capacity. We're talking 60, maybe 70% of what it should be doing. Just let that sink in. The vast majority of us are operating in a low-power mode, and we don't even know it.
So naturally, you're probably asking yourself, wait a minute, is that me? Am I in that 70%? How can you actually tell if your body's engine isn't firing on all cylinders? Well, there's a surprisingly simple way to get a clue, and it all starts with this number, 97.8 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 36.5 Celsius. This number is a really important dividing line. Here's the deal. Just take your temperature first thing in the morning. I'm talking before you even get out of bed. If you're consistently in that sweet spot, somewhere between 97.8 and 98.6, that's a great sign. But if your temperature is always hanging out below 97.8, that's a huge red flag that your thyroid is likely suppressed and your metabolism is running slow.
And hey, it's not just about the thermometer. Let's do a quick mental check. Any of these sound a little too familiar? Always having cold hands and feet? Feeling totally wiped out even after a solid 8 hours of sleep? What about that classic afternoon brain fog that just rolls in? Or that stubborn fat that just will not budge no matter what you do? These are all classic signs that your body's control panel might need a serious tune-up.
So if this is happening to so many people, what on earth is causing it? Well, it seems to boil down to three major culprits in our modern lives that are constantly slamming the brakes on our thyroid. Let's kick it off with culprit number one, chronic stress. And this quote just nails it perfectly. See, your body's ancient wiring is built to handle short, intense threats, like running from a lion. What it's not built for is the constant, low-grade, never-ending stress of modern life. So, that looming work deadline, worrying about bills, not sleeping enough, even just the anxiety from scrolling social media, to your ancient biology, it's all the same danger signal. It's a lion outside the cave. So your body floods with the stress hormone cortisol, which basically tells your thyroid, hey, shut it down, we're in danger, we need to conserve energy. Now, culprit number two is a sneaky one because it's hiding right there in our food, industrial seed oils, or PUFAs. Some sources go as far to call them a thyroid poison, and here's why. First, they actually block your body's ability to turn the inactive thyroid hormone into the active one. Second, they literally damage the little power plants inside your cells. And if that wasn't enough, they've been shown to directly slam the brakes on your resting metabolic rate. And that leads us right to our third and final culprit, just not having the right raw materials. It's a really simple equation, actually. For your thyroid to do its job and run your metabolism, it needs specific building blocks. In our modern processed diet, it's often been stripped clean of all those vital nutrients. But what are these mission-critical building blocks? Well, your thyroid is absolutely hungry for things like iodine, selenium, and zinc. It desperately needs vitamins like A and B. If you're not getting enough of these key players, the whole metabolic assembly line just grinds to a halt. So we've laid out the problem, we've identified the culprits, and it might sound a little bleak.
But here is the really good news. Can you actually fix a suppressed metabolism? The answer is a resounding yes. There's a clear roadmap for it called the Metabolic Revival Protocol.
Now, this isn't about some magic pill. It's a full system reboot. It all starts by signaling safety to your body, which often just means eating enough food. Then you go on the offensive and remove the things holding you back. Get rid of those seed oils and find real ways to manage your stress. After that, you start adding back the good stuff, all those key nutrients your thyroid is crying out for. You also want to clear out chemicals that mess with your hormones. And finally, you get in sync with your body's natural clock. Think morning sun and dark nights.
When you boil it all down, it really comes to this. All those symptoms, the low energy, the brain fog, the cold hands, they aren't just random annoyances you have to suffer through. They're signals. They're messages your body is sending you. So the only question that's left is, are you ready to finally start listening?